This Friday Night Lights high school football preview show is presented by Villa Maria College, advancing educational opportunity for all of Western New York.
Hi, this is Jack Kreuzer with BTPM's Friday Night Lights. Let's look at high school football, starting with Class AA in Section 6 this season. Only 7 teams in this class. They all return from 2024, so no movement as we get a look at the 7 teams in Class AA. At the top was Lancaster last season. The Legends won the 2024 sectional title. Head coach Eric Rupp enters his 10th season as head coach with plenty of experience under his belt. They've loaded up with a tough non-conference game to start the season at McKinley. And with a boatload of juniors leading this Lancaster class, should be interesting to see how the Legends shape out this season. After winning the title a year ago, they were senior heavy. Now, one of the smaller classes Lancaster has had in a while in terms of numbers. They're down below 50 this year, and in sheer experience, only 5 or so starters return on both sides of the ball combined, including Braden Klinger, Justin Tubner, Daniel Ahern. They will be the leaders on this team. 2 seniors and a junior there playing both sides of the ball. Justin Tubner expected to take a big leap entering his junior season. First-year quarterback Matt King will get his first varsity start after missing the last year with an injury. Didn't play JV or varsity last season. He'll be quarterback number 1 this year for Lancaster. The team they beat in the sectional final last season was Jamestown. Tom Langworthy and the Red and Green come into the 2025 season with high expectations, but similar to Lancaster, they lose a lot of the core players they had a season ago. However, they do return Chase Bonta, their workhorse running back who is on our Connolly Cup watch list. Bonta last season was unbelievable. Nearly 2,000 yards rushing on offense, and then as a middle linebacker for the Red and Green, he had over 100 total tackles, 23 of those for a loss. The Red and Green, as long as Bonta is there, have a chance to win week in, week out. The difference, however, is they lose their quarterback from last season. Dominic Gonzalez was a junior last year. He now focuses on basketball. He's not playing football this fall. Entering the door for Jackson Gray. He'll be a sophomore this year, getting his first varsity start at home against Williamsville North Friday, September 5th. For Jamestown, they're going to rely on that running game quite a bit. And they feel comfortable doing that with 4 of 5 offensive linemen returning from 2024.
Expectations are high. We've got a lot of guys back, and our expectations are always high. Right now we're building things up, making sure that we have a shared vision for what the future holds, making sure that we have the right habits and expectations and culture instilled. And that's, I think, is the foundation of getting better, is making sure everyone's on the same page.
I don't want to talk too much about last season, but you do win 6 of your last 7 games to make it to Highmark Stadium, 6 in a row, and then the championship, which came down to the last 5 minutes of the game.
Sure.
What went into that streak that got you all the way to Highmark?
We did a better job protecting the ball, and we were more fundamentally sound. We were for 4 weeks in a row, we didn't have a turnover, and that's winning football. So I thought we played really well all 3 phases of the game in those weeks, and you know, you draw on those experiences, but we aren't thinking about last year. That's history to us, and we just want to make sure we can use our experience for good, and this is a fresh start, and I think that's the fun part of this time of year.
You mentioned the amount of returners that come back from last year's team, but you also lose some key players. I think Carson Penabianco, one of those key guys in the locker room. How do you replace one of those guys, and who do you think is someone that can step up in his absence?
When you have a player like Carson, you don't really lose him. You lose the production, but the example that he set actually carries on. And Carson's actually going to be like one of our volunteer coaches this year as well. So he stayed close to the program. I know it means a lot to him. But these other guys got to step up. This is time for juniors that become seniors to step up and leave their mark on the program. And that's what we expect out of them, and they're excited to do that.
The Bennett Tigers are a team that missed Highmark Stadium in the sectional championship last season for the first time since 2019. Coach Steve McDuffie has high expectations for the Tigers, but they do graduate a handful of talent from last year. Now it's a younger roster for Bennett, but they do have a star player to surround their offense and defense with with a ton of speed. Jack Eskridge IV is a Connolly Cup watch list player for us this season, entering his senior year. Since transferring from Canisius, Eskridge has been a star for the Bennett Tigers, looking to get back to the sectional championship game after being knocked out in the semifinal as the 1 seed. The Bennett Tigers will certainly be a team to watch. Another team to look out for this year in Class AA is Orchard Park. The Quakers have dealt with a ton of injuries the last few years, specifically to their offensive line. However, this year, 4 of their 5 starters from a season ago are healthy, and they return from last season. That should help a new quarterback at Orchard Park. Jaden Hassett doesn't have the reps under his belt, so to say, just yet, entering his junior year as the first-year starting quarterback for the Quakers. And they start the year with a bang. A non-conference game at Health Sciences Week 1 will be on Friday Night Lights. We'll be at Coyer Field at Buffalo State University for the Quakers taking on Health Sciences Global Concepts at the Falcons' home stadium. Should be an exciting game to see just where the Quakers will fit in for Class AA and how dominant Health Sciences may be in Class A2. More on them in our Class A preview. My dark horse for Class AA are the Niagara Falls Wolverines. The Wolverines are senior heavy this season with plenty of returning talent, including one of 2 quarterbacks who return this year in Class AA. Michael Taylor is a legit one of 2 quarterbacks in this conference that showed a lot of talent last season. Over 1,000 passing yards, 12 touchdowns combined for Michael Taylor. They're pretty senior heavy, are the Wolverines this season, with big expectations for 19th year veteran head coach Donald Bass and Niagara Falls. Look out for the Wolverines to turn some heads. They have a chance to do so Week 1 against Bennett when they welcome the Tigers up to the Falls on September 6th.
This Friday Night Lights high school football preview show is presented by Villa Maria College with additional support from the WNED Foundation.